Welcome back to the Journeyman Podcast, fellow travelers. This is episode 38, and today we're diving into a mystery that has captivated people for decades. The Enigma of Coral Castle. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and if you're craving more mind-blowing content after this episode, check out our friends over at Area the 52. You can find a link in the description.
What's intriguing about Coral Castle is how it straddles the line between the tangible and the inexplicable. We have these massive coral structures crafted with a precision that baffles even modern engineers, yet built by a single man with seemingly rudimentary tools.
It's almost like something out of an Indiana Jones film. Picture this Ed Leedskalnin, a Latvian immigrant standing just 5 feet tall and weighing a mere 100 pounds, single-handedly quarried, shaped, and assembled over 1,100 tons of coral rock. Some of these blocks weigh up to 30 tons.
And the mystery deepens when you consider that he worked almost entirely in secrecy, often under the cover of night, refusing any outside help.
Okay, so we've got this enigmatic figure working in the shadows, creating a structure of impossible proportions. Where do we even begin to unravel this puzzle?
To understand Coral Castle, we need to understand the man who built it. Ed Leedskalnin was born in Latvia in 1887. He was engaged to be married, but just one day before the wedding, his fiancée Agnes broke it off. This heartbreak profoundly impacted him, and he eventually emigrated to North America.
So we've got a story of love and loss, a classic setup for a mystery. What happened next?
Well, while in North America, Ed contracted tuberculosis, seeking a warmer climate and believing that sunshine could cure him. He eventually made his way to Florida City, Florida in 1923.
So he ends up in Florida, heartbroken, and seeking a cure. Is this where Coral Castle begins?
Precisely, he began working on what he initially called Rockgate Park in Florida City, spending nearly 2 decades meticulously crafting his coral creations.
It's amazing to think that this incredible structure started as a simple rock garden.
But the story takes an even more baffling turn in 1937 for reasons unknown. Ed decided to move his entire creation, stone by stone, to its current location in Homestead, Florida, about 10 miles away.
Wait, he moved the entire structure. How is that even possible?
That's a question that has fueled countless theories and speculation over the years. We have accounts from locals who claim to have seen him transporting the massive blocks seemingly with ease, often at night.
Okay, now we're getting into the heart of the mystery. A 100-pound man moving multi-ton blocks in the dark without any heavy machinery. This is where those Indiana Jones vibes really kick in.
It is indeed, and Ed wasn't shy about adding to the mystique. He famously claimed to know the secrets of the pyramids, hinting at some lost or ancient knowledge that allowed him to achieve these seemingly impossible feats. He even published his own theories on magnetic current, suggesting that he had tapped into a force unknown to conventional science.
So we've got a heartbroken man working in secrecy, moving massive stones, and claiming to possess ancient knowledge. It's like a recipe for the ultimate historical enigma. Before we dive into the wild theories surrounding Coral Castle's construction, let's take a closer look at what Ed actually created. What are some of the key features of this incredible structure?
One of the most famous and impressive features is the 9-ton revolving door. It's so perfectly balanced that it was once said to be movable with the push of a single finger. We also have the 28-foot-tall obelisk, a massive sundial that tracks not only the time of day but also the months and seasons, and a series of intricate walls, arches, and furniture pieces, all crafted from massive coral blocks.
It sounds like he created an entire world within those walls, a testament to his vision, skill, and dedication. But the question that keeps nagging at me is how did he manage to move and shape these colossal stones with such precision?
That's the million-dollar question, and one that we'll explore in more detail in the next part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the various theories that attempt to explain Ed's methods, from the more grounded explanations involving simple mechanics and ingenuity, to the more outlandish ideas involving levitation, magnetism, and even ancient knowledge.
It sounds like we're about to embark on a fascinating journey through the world of speculation and possibility. Before we move on to part 2, let's remind our listeners to like and subscribe to the Journeyman Podcast for more deep dives into the world's most captivating mysteries. And don't forget to check out our friends over at Area 52 for even more mind-blowing content. We'll be back soon with part 2 of our exploration into Coral Castle, where we'll tackle the intriguing theories behind its construction. Until then, keep exploring and questioning the seemingly impossible.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the mystery of Coral Castle. As promised, we're going to tackle the question that has puzzled researchers and enthusiasts for decades. How did Ed Leedskalnin actually build this incredible structure?
We left off with a sense of awe at the sheer scale and complexity of Coral Castle, juxtaposed with the image of this solitary, unassuming man working tirelessly in the shadows. It really sets the stage for some captivating theories.
Let's start with the more grounded explanations. Ed was, after all, a skilled stonemason. He understood the principles of leverage balance and weight distribution. It's entirely plausible that he used a combination of simple machines like levers, pulleys, rollers, and inclined planes to move and position the massive coral blocks.
It speaks to a level of ingenuity and resourcefulness that's almost hard to grasp today.
Absolutely. We have to remember that Ed didn't have access to modern construction equipment. He had to rely on his knowledge, his intuition, and whatever materials he could find or repurpose.
Speaking of repurposed materials, we know that some of his tools were fashioned from discarded items like truck axles and chains. This suggests a real make-do mentality, doesn't it?
Exactly. He was a master of improvisation, and this ingenuity might extend beyond just his tools. Some researchers believe he might have used techniques like strategically flooding areas to float the stones or creating a system of counterweights and fulcrums to manipulate their immense weight.
So even within the realm of conventional methods, there's room for some pretty ingenious solutions. But what about those more unconventional theories, the ones that delve into the realm of the unexplained?
This is where things get really interesting. Ed's claims about knowing the secrets of the pyramids have fueled speculation that he might have had access to some lost ancient knowledge about sound or vibration being used to manipulate heavy objects.
That's a popular concept in alternative archaeology. The idea that ancient civilizations possess knowledge and technologies that we've lost or haven't yet rediscovered. Is there any evidence to support this claim in relation to Coral Castle?
There's no direct evidence, but there are some intriguing observations. For example, the layout of Coral Castle with its precise alignments to celestial bodies and the Earth's magnetic field suggests a deeper understanding of natural forces than we might expect from a self-taught stonemason.
We touched upon these alignments earlier. The sundial, the obelisk pointing towards Polaris, the overall orientation of the structure. It does seem to suggest a level of astronomical and geomantic knowledge that goes beyond simple construction techniques.
And this leads us to another fascinating theory, the idea that Ed might have harnessed the power of magnetism or electromagnetism to manipulate the stones.
This is where we start to venture into the realm of science fiction.
Not necessarily. While Ed's own writings on magnetic current are somewhat esoteric and difficult to reconcile with modern physics, the basic concept of electromagnetism is very real, and we know that some researchers have experimented with using electromagnetic fields to levitate objects.
So it's not entirely impossible that Ed, through his own experimentation and tinkering, stumbled upon a way to utilize this force for his purposes. But wouldn't that require some pretty sophisticated equipment?
That's a key point of contention. Some believe that Ed might have constructed a device often referred to as the black box that helped him generate and control these electromagnetic fields.
Ah, yes, the mysterious black box. It's become almost legendary in Coral Castle lore. Is there any evidence to support its existence?
Unfortunately, no physical evidence of a black box has ever been found. It's based entirely on anecdotal accounts and speculation.
So it remains a tantalizing piece of the puzzle, fueling the imagination, but lacking concrete proof.
Right.
But even without the black box, the idea that Ed might have somehow manipulated magnetism to move those massive stones is pretty mind-boggling.
It certainly challenges our conventional understanding of physics and engineering, and this brings us to perhaps the most intriguing and most debated theory of all levitation.
Okay, now we're really entering the realm of the extraordinary. Are we talking about actual physical levitation of those multi-ton blocks?
There are eyewitness accounts primarily from teenagers who live near Coral Castle who claim to have seen Ed float the stones into place as if they were weightless.
Those are some pretty bold claims. Is there any corroboration for these accounts?
Unfortunately, the witnesses have since passed away, and their claims were never rigorously investigated. However, these accounts persist and have become an integral part of the Coral Castle legend.
So we have this spectrum of theories ranging from the practical and plausible to the seemingly impossible. It's fascinating how this one structure can inspire such diverse explanations.
And that's what makes Coral Castle so captivating. It forces us to confront the limits of our own knowledge, and understanding it compels us to question what we believe is possible and to entertain ideas that might seem outlandish at first glance.
It's a reminder that there are still mysteries in the world, things that we might never fully understand.
Before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I think it's important to highlight one more aspect of the story: the enduring power of human dedication and passion. Regardless of the specific methods Ed used, the fact that he devoted over 3 decades of his life to this project, working tirelessly and in solitude, is a testament to the power of the human spirit.
It's a reminder that even in the face of heartbreak and adversity, we have the capacity to create something truly extraordinary. and that perhaps within each of us there's a hidden potential waiting to be unlocked. Welcome back to the Journeyman Podcast. We're wrapping up our deep dive into the Coral Castle mystery, and I'm still reeling from all the theories we've explored.
It's a lot to process, isn't it? From simple mechanics to levitation. It seems like every explanation raises more questions.
Exactly. But before we get lost in the how, I think it's important to circle back to the why. What drove Ed Leedskalnin to dedicate his life to this project?
That's a question that has intrigued researchers for decades. One prevailing theory points to his heartbreak. Remember, his fiancée Agnes left him just before their wedding?
Right? A story of love and loss that seems to permeate the entire Coral Castle narrative.
Some believe the entire structure was a grand gesture, a monument to their love, or perhaps even a desperate attempt to win her back.
So, Coral Castle as a love letter in stone, that adds another layer of intrigue to this already fascinating story.
Absolutely, but there's another interpretation that goes beyond a simple love story. Some researchers suggest that Coral Castle was a deliberate attempt by Ed to encode his knowledge and beliefs into the structure itself.
Intriguing, you're saying. It's more than a monument. It's a message.
Think about it, the precise alignments we discussed, the incorporation of specific symbols and geometric patterns, the arrangement of the various structures, all of these elements could be seen as a form of coded language.
Like he's hiding a secret in plain sight.
Yeah.
I can see how that would appeal to those seeking hidden knowledge or a deeper meaning behind Coral Castle.
Precisely. It's a concept that resonates with the idea of Ed possessing some secret ancient knowledge. Whether or not that's true is another matter.
Right, we have to be careful not to get swept up in speculation, but it's definitely a thought-provoking concept. It seems like Coral Castle is a story that's constantly evolving, always revealing new layers of meaning.
That's the beauty of it. It sparks the imagination and invites multiple interpretations. But even amidst the mystery and speculation, it's important to acknowledge the tangible reality of what Ed accomplished.
Absolutely, regardless of how he did it. The sheer scale of his achievement is undeniable. He moved and shaped those massive stones with a precision that still baffles experts today.
And he did it all by himself, driven by a force that we can only speculate about.
That's what I find so inspiring about Coral Castle. It's a testament to the power of human dedication, ingenuity, and perhaps a touch of obsession.
It reminds us that limitations are often self-imposed. With enough passion and perseverance, we can achieve extraordinary things.
It's a story that transcends the boundaries of science and history, tapping into our collective fascination with the unexplained and the power of human potential.
Coral Castle challenges us to question, to explore, and to never stop marveling at the wonders of the world, both natural and man-made.
Well said. I think we've given our listeners a lot to ponder. As we conclude our deep dive into Coral Castle, we encourage you to continue your own exploration of this fascinating enigma.
Remember, the true secrets of Coral Castle lie not just within its stone walls, but within the hearts and minds of those who are willing to engage with its mystery, to question, to imagine, and to never stop seeking answers.
And as always, we encourage you to share your thoughts, theories, and interpretations of Coral Castle in the comments below. What resonated with you? What questions do you still have? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Journeyman Podcast for more deep dives into the world's most captivating mysteries for those seeking an even deeper dive into the unknown. Be sure to check out Area 52, a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the fringes of knowledge and the unexplained.
Until next time, fellow travelers, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the spirit of curiosity alive.